So, the apocalypse. We're talking about that again. I was watching an interview the other day, and they were talking about how apparently there's a bunch of billionaires, these tech entrepreneurs, that are now kind of preparing for the kind of economic collapse that I was talking about in a previous video. I'm talking billionaire tech entrepreneurs and investors that are like seriously plugged in to the news on AI and the markets and all that stuff, that are now building bunkers and doing survivalist training to prepare for what's coming. One of them was a former executive at Yahoo who's taking archery lessons because he thinks that society is going to be pushed that far back. Of course, he was at Yahoo, so maybe he thinks that's how far society is now. So apparently a lot of these guys are concerned that as, automation and AI starts to take over jobs and people start to feel that economic distress, that they're going to blame them for all their hardships and rise up against them all French Revolution style. That sounds fun. But I don't think the people are going to rise up against technology necessarily. I mean, we all use this technology now. If it wasn't for this technology, they wouldn't be able to watch TV on their phones or take pictures of their food. But I do think, as I mentioned in my video, that people are going to start to turn against each other. Like start blaming other groups of people for their misfortune. Because I don't mean to brag or anything, but we're pretty good at that. But in the midst of the discussion in this interview, a lot of which I didn't agree with, one of these guys just blurted out something that really stuck with me. He said, "We need to build communities, not bunkers." He said it really casually, so fast I almost missed it, but then I started thinking about it and I was like, dude, that kind of nails it. I think as our trust in institutions starts to fall apart, we're going to be relying more than ever on the social circles around us for support. I mean, you only have to look at the growth of things like GoFundMe to see that already starting to happen. These communities can help each other out in volunteer fashion, or even, pool money together where people can pull out of it when they need it. And by the way, if that sounds familiar, it's because it's called insurance. And we're all just thrilled with how that's being handled right now. People who are being squeezed out by the economy might start to just opt out of those kinds of systems and, engage in community marketplaces. Throw into the mix the rise of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, and you're starting to see entire economies being built around communities like this, completely off the grid from the rest of the economic system. A cellular, modular society of underground, self-sustaining, decentralized economies that are just doing their own thing while the rest of the world burns. That was dramatic. Now, I truly believe, and I've said this before on the channel, that at the end of your life, you will be judged, whether in a spiritual sense or by history, on whether or not you bring people together or divide people. And there are plenty of people out there making tons of money by dividing people, by creating separation, by building bunkers. I choose to be the former. I want to bring people together because the other way just leads to fear, anger, hate, suffering. Not to say that I've been doing a great job being social. I work from home and spend my Saturday nights here editing videos. Now, if it feels like I'm talking about this a lot lately, it's because it's important. Most people don't see the big picture, and that's understandable. They got their head down, they're focusing and just trying to get through their day-to-day, but they're so caught up in all that stuff that when these big systemic overarching changes start to happen, to them it looks like something else. It looks like something conspiring against them, either the elites from above with a boot to their neck or the people in the lower class below them trying to get what they have. The more we can get people to understand that these changes are inevitable, that it's part of a much, much bigger force out there that's completely indifferent to their situation, something that's beyond the control of any human being, the better. Because humanity and humans are two totally different things. Just like an ant colony acts like a singular unit, a superorganism that has its own priorities and its own objectives that are completely different than that of the ant. Humanity is the emergent superorganism that was created by the natural collective machinations of humans. Now, the ant metaphor may sound extreme because, after all, we're humans. We have rational thought and we are conscious beings. We're advanced creatures. We're not little automatons. We have free will and we have emotions and that kind of thing. But I would argue that there's a foundational algorithm in our brains that collectively over 7 billion people creates humanity. A completely different entity with different objectives, and it always moves toward technological progress. Humanity is not nostalgic. Humanity just keeps moving forward, and humanity has been set back in the past because there are humans that didn't understand this, and they wanted things to go back the way they used to be. That forward progress has always, and is right now, disrupting the world of industry and commerce. And the way those disruptions affect the average person is not always positive or fair. I like Tim Urban's definition of the human colossus. I like putting a name on it by creating a separation between the motivations of humanity and our motivations personally as humans. But the more people can understand that this is just a natural flow of things and then adjust accordingly, the less likely we are to point fingers at other people and have this whole thing devolve into some kind of Mad Max apocalyptic nightmare. There is no divide and conquer here. There is only divide and fail. Build communities, not bunkers. So as this channel continues to grow, I really want to explore opportunities to build on the whole community aspect of this whole thing. Find ways that we can help each other out or just work together to do some cool stuff in the world. So seriously, I want to hear some ideas in the comments below. What kind of things can we do together? What kind of groups can we support? What kind of just fun things could we do? And of course, what do you think about the idea of self-sustaining communities on the rise in this age of automation that we're living in? I want to hear what your thoughts about that too. I'm also curious about what role social media has to play in all this. It's something that's a little bit disturbing is how social media has actually divided us in a lot of ways in our real communities of actually getting together and being face-to-face with people. We tend to have drifted apart and become more divisive in a lot of ways, and I'm wondering whether we could harness that technology to build communities like this or if it's actually going to get in the way of doing that kind of thing. Thanks for watching this video, and special thanks as always to my answer files on Patreon. If you would like to join us and get special perks like watching my secret vlog that nobody else gets to see, you can go to patreon.com/answerswithjoe. And as always, this video is sponsored by cankerboy.com. If you get canker sores on a regular basis, it is not a curse. It can be cured. It can be fixed. Go to cankerboy.com. Find out for yourself. And if this is your first time here and you're actually still watching this video, I love you. You should hit subscribe because I come back with stuff like this every Monday. All right, you guys go out and have an eye-opening week, and I will see you next Monday. Love you guys. Take care.